What is up, friends? This is Bandy with another Heroes of the Storm Hero League replay. In this match, I'm going to be playing Anub'arak, the Nerubian warrior. And on my team, in voice communications today, we had Vala, Brightwing, Sylvanas, and Anub'arak, myself, obviously, all together in voice comms. And then we picked up this fellow by the name of Saga, who picked up the Lost Vikings, which are a great pick on this map, because if you can control the watchtowers and then have a Viking pick up the Dragon Knight in the middle, then you're sitting pretty. Here's my idea. Not exactly revolutionary, but if the Vikings soak, then all of us can kind of push mid. So we've got Olaf on top, we've got Eric and Balog on the bottom, and they're all controlled by Saga. And we are going to rush out to the middle, all four of us all at once. We can put on a lot of pressure, and then all the Vikings in top and bottom lane need to do is soak experience while we push as hard as we can. So the idea is that the enemy team will be divided amongst the lanes trying to push, but they'll be separate, where we can concentrate our efforts in the middle and make a lot of progress, especially considering we've got Sylvanas in the middle pushing with us. The enemy team has a Muradin, Rhaegar, Johanna, Illidan, and Zagara. That is a great team composition. They've got the double warrior there, which I'm not sure is such a great idea, especially if one of the warriors is Johanna. You're really kind of nerfing or hampering your damage that you can do. But Anub'arak. Anub'arak is a great choice for warrior right now. He's one of the top 2 or 3 most popular warriors. He's pretty much the go-to warrior if Muradin is already chosen. And now that Johanna's in the mix, she's kind of mixing things up. So Anub'arak kind of became popular, was it 1 or 2 patches ago, when ETC was reworked a little bit, so he lost some of his early game power. And Anub'arak's passive, he spawns beetles, or 1 beetle. This guy right here, this little dude, whenever he uses an ability. Oh, and as we learned from the Rhaegar video, Rhaegar does more damage with his first auto attack popping out of that Ghost Wolf form. So, by some miracle, this Lost Vikings player managed to get both of the shrines. Now, that's probably because we were applying so much pressure in middle that most of the enemy team showed up here to stop us. You can see they've got 3 right there. Johanna's going top. Run, Fracture. Joanna's going top, and Muradin is up top as well. So they felt like they needed to go deal with that. So now that they're split, we can maybe make some progress in the middle. Although we did want to decide, or we did decide to go and get some of those watchtowers. The Zagara in this game does not do a spectacular job of placing creep down. It's one of the most important things you're going to do because of that vision. She was sitting there for so long, she could have placed down a creep tumor. She has some going on top, but they're not in the bushes. They're not protecting these bottom bushes, and she's not even on top anymore. Anyway, let's look at the build I'm going to be going with Anub'arak this game as we push back this Rhaegar. So, picking up Regeneration Master and then Underking. Now, it's kind of ever since the beetles were reworked and their AI was vastly improved. It used to be whenever one of these beetles spawned when Anub'arak used an ability, they would pretty much just make a beeline for the nearest lane and start pushing with the minions, which was not the most effective thing in the world. Now they'll chase down enemy heroes and actually have an effect. There's a snipe. That's the kind of thing that Underking makes possible. So, as I was saying, the Beetle Build now, where the first 3 talents you take as Anub'arak all affect beetles, so they make the beetles do more damage, they maybe make them tankier, and they allow the beetles' auto attacks to do a percentage of healing of the damage that they do back to Anub'arak. That's kind of become a really popular build lately, although I have to disagree. I honestly feel like, I don't disagree that it's popular, that's just a fact, but I honestly feel like, just chasing her away, as soon as I leave middle there. Alright, nothing terrible goes on. That's good, that happens later, no spoilers. But I honestly feel like the build that makes himself tankier and increases the range and the damage, maybe even the speed of his E ability, the one that lets him dive underground and then pop out again and kind of knock everybody up when he comes out, is the better choice. So you saw me take Regeneration Master to increase my sustain, and then yeah, Underking allows me to do those snipes like the one you saw me get on Rhaegar there, where I can from quite a distance away dive underground, pop up, and you can cancel that ability early, so it doesn't always take you the full distance. If you press E again, you can pop out early. And it lets me get off those kind of really cool looking snipes. Now you can see because there are 4 of us in the middle here all pushing, we're almost ignoring the objective on this map and just pushing as hard as we can because we've got 4 in the middle, 1 including Sylvanas like I mentioned before. And now we're going to dive off now that we've got some progress made. The enemy team gets control of both shrines, but they sacrificed, quite a bit of, they sacrificed their gate in the middle here. They allowed us to push while they were kind of taking control of the objective. And now our job is going to be just to protect the middle. We don't have to take those shrines back. We're pretty confident that as long as we've got somebody soaking in the outer lanes, i.e. the Lost Vikings, then we can just keep pushing in middle and coming back every so often just to make sure nobody's going to come and sneak those from us. And meanwhile, we do have Vala who went up top to help out Olaf and get that top shrine back. But that leaves us a little bit short-handed in middle, so now it's 3 on 3 in middle, and you can see we are being pushed back. So this game is nice. It's got kind of an interesting ebb and flow. Vala returns now, gets engaged on by Illidan, but that's my job to try and peel Illidan off, at least put some pressure on him so Vala can be left alone. Their Rhaegar does a great job of keeping everybody up this game as much as possible. Now up top we've got Muradin forcing Olaf back, but that means they're without a tank in middle. We decide to come back here on Zagara and try to chase her away, but as soon as we leave middle, Illidan dives in and grabs the Dragon Knight. So that wasn't the best idea. You can see that, we're not a rank 1 team. This is a rank, I think the highest guy is rank 17. We've got things to learn, right? That's what you live and learn. Play the game. There's another body block. So body blocking on Anub'arak is going to be a really important aspect of playing him. You don't want to pop out directly underneath. That was a great wailing banshee whale howl or whatever Sylvanas just used there. So the 2 of our damage combined took down Johanna before she was able to get behind the gate. You don't want to pop up out of your E ability right underneath the person you're trying to kill. Let yourself, because you might pop them up and then they jolt a little bit ahead as you occupy the space they were just in. And then, you haven't blocked them. So the whole idea is you want to dive underground and then pop up ahead of them so that they sort of get knocked up and maybe even back a little bit. And now you're body blocking them. So that's a huge thing to learn on Anub'arak. This fight's going on down in mid. We take out the Dragon Knight, but that frees Illidan, of course. Now Illidan is still at 100% health. He's fully effective here. Zagara is doing a great job of pushing in the bottom, and Balog is not going to be able to force her back all by himself. So the game sort of stalls out a little bit here. We've both got our both teams have gotten our level 10 heroic abilities. They're going to go for some objectives in the form of the Siege Giants. Zagara just waiting here. I don't know what's going on, but Vala catches her. Vala with, I believe she took Envenom. And then the help. Oh, sorry, that was Sylvanas. What am I thinking? So Sylvanas took Envenom, and that's why you saw Zagara get chunked down so quickly. Now Rhaegar comes in, and Rhaegar took the interesting choice of Bloodlust instead of Ancestral Healing for the ultimate ability there. Web Wrap. Now, Web Wrap is the heroic ability that I decided to go with. I like how the audio does that weird dampening thing every time anybody gets Web Wrapped. So out of the 2 choices for heroic that Anub'arak has, you can go with Web Wrap, which will wrap up one member of the enemy team for 4 or 5 seconds. But the Web Wrap has HP that slowly depletes over time, and when it's fully gone, the Web Wrap is broken and the character is free. The Web Wrap can be targeted by spells and auto attacks from your enemy team, so the same team as the person that you wrap up. And so they can break it early. Now, it's often not chosen because it's easy to break it early, but what I decided to do in this game was go with that because of the presence of this guy right here, Illidan. I wanted to be able to... That was nice, of Brightwing speeding me up there so we could do the chase. I wanted to be able to lock Illidan out of the fight so that he wouldn't be diving in and putting pressure on our DPS, on our squishies, who supply most of the damage, of course. This is a nice little chaser in Zagara. She wanted to back, but I caught her. Sylvanas going around from the other side. Zagara wants to ult me, but I dive underneath the ult, pop out in front of her, and body block like I talked about before. So not only have we killed Zagara, she's out of the fight for 25-30 seconds, but she's wasted her ult, so when she comes back, she won't be 100% effective until that cooldown is done. The Lost Vikings making their way to the middle now. We're sort of still getting pushed back on bottom. You can see the experience level of both teams here. It is relatively even. Brightwind being a nice support, being a solid bro, and coming to help out Vala on the bottom. But will it be enough? She's getting chased. Healed. It will be enough. And now that the team is there, we feel like maybe now's a good time to dive in. Sylvanas is facing Illidan on top. We've got the Lost Vikings using their ultimate, which is part of what... and it looks like on top Illidan was successful. Part of what keeps them great into the late game is the fact that that ultimate sort of has this great big power spike right when the laning phase tends to be over. I was talking about web wrap, so that was probably the worst thing I do in this entire game. You can see Muradin breaking the web wrap, but I wrap up Rhaegar thinking that I'll take the healer out of the fight so we can wrap up everybody else, but the only guys left in the fight were, well, Muradin was there. So Muradin's pretty tanky. It's not like he can be burst down insanely quickly. He's got a great escape, and because I web wrapped Rhaegar, they both managed to get away. So I've made a terrible error, and I'm going to go back now out of shame. Also because I don't have mana. So the first couple of web wraps I use in this game, not the most effective thing in the world, but eventually, hopefully, no spoilers, we'll see if I smarten up. So I took web wrap instead of the other ultimate, the one that surrounds Anub'arak with spitting beetles that do damage and heal him. Which is a great choice. It's sustain, it's more damage, it does area of effect, so it's great for somebody like Anub'arak who dives into the middle of a fight. Do we pick up the minions? Yes, we do, and now they've got to deal with that. Yeah, it's great for a tank, but I decided to go with web wrap in this game because, like I mentioned already, I wanted to be able to take Illidan out of the fight, so our backline wouldn't be pressured and they could put up their full effectiveness. The enemy team has gotten ahead of us in experience. Web wrapping Zagara here was the second. It wasn't a terrible thing, it was just a useless thing. I've wasted my ultimate on a character with no escapes that we were about to kill anyway. So, I've got a ways to go before I'm an MLG pro player. But once again, we'll see if I smarten up a little bit later in the game. We're going to push this fort down. The polymorph there on Rhaegar was great. He can't heal, of course, while he's a pig. And I'm in the middle of these three guys, but I know I can escape at any moment with my E ability, and I want to get this fort down. Get stunned by Muradin. Here it comes. There's the stun, and there's the kill. So that's really what you need to know if you want to kill Anub'arak. If you want to play Anub'arak, don't wait to the last minute to get yourself stunned so you can't escape. If you're playing against Anub'arak, and he's, you know, staying in the fight a little longer than he should, the surround on Johanna, and then picked off as she starts to run away. And then, nice kill. That's what I was waiting for. Okay, so if you want to kill Anub'arak and he's staying longer than he should, make sure you stun him right as you're about to deliver the killing blow so he can't turn around and escape. Good thing that Illidan made a really silly play there, diving in against 3 players, 2 Vikings and 2 full heroes. The enemy team has control, so that was just a silly play. Sometimes as Illidan you get the feeling that you're a god and you can just survive anything, so I'll go ham and take out the entire enemy team all by myself. It's this false sense of security, maybe, that infects his mind. Anyway, I've gone to the bottom there to grab, and with the help of Olaf, of course, to grab that bottom shrine. The Devouring Maw gets no one there, and then once again we are going to try to body block Zagara. We could have failed on the body block, but the good thing the rest of the team there was available to pick up the damage. Sylvanas taking the top, and the enemy team has gone and taken the bottom from Olaf. So I was about to grab the dragon there. Now, I just forgot, apparently, that there was a Lost Vikings on this map. You really want to let one of the Vikings take the dragon. I'm just used to not having Vikings on the map, I guess. And so it's usually a good idea to let the tank take the dragon, because the Dragon Knight's going to attract the enemy team's attention anyway. They're probably going to focus him down quickly, and if they waste all this time focusing down the dragon while your damage dealers, your assassins, are there assassinating. Let's see. There's the web wrap on Illidan. Finally, I've web wrapped the right target. So anyway, if the enemy team wastes all this time taking down the Dragon Knight while your DPS is chunking them down, and then guess who pops out of the Dragon Knight? A tank who's probably got some sustain and a good amount of HP. That's just a good overall strategy. So we managed to pick up a couple of kills there because I remembered to use web wrap on the proper target. Good job. It only took 13.5 minutes into the game to figure that out. We know that Sylvanas is taking the bottom shrine, so we want to come up here. Like I said, I'd basically forgotten I had a Lost Vikings in the game with me. So I'm going to go and grab the Dragon Knight. Not the worst idea, but it's really a better idea to let the Vikings take it. Now Sylvanas elects not to join us here, which seems like it might be a questionable decision, except for the fact that the entire enemy team is distracted in the middle and now top with the Dragon Knight and the rest of the team. And Sylvanas is free to push all by herself because the enemy team has just got other things to worry about. This Val is going to stay in mid and push. And we'll see what happens up here. My allies come up to support the Dragon Knight, but I managed to get myself surrounded by all 5 of the enemy team, basically, and they're going to go in there and wreak some havoc. They take out the Dragon Knight relatively quickly, and I didn't have a huge effect on this Knight, but guess what that did is, again, like I mentioned, it distracts the enemy team. So what we have is we've opened up the possibility, because they were up here, you know, occupied for that entire time. We'll just watch a little bit more of this team fight and then go and see what I'm talking about. The Devouring Maw and a couple of Vikings there. Do I manage to make it out this time? Do I remember not to overstay? Want to come back in and support the rest of the team. There goes the Avatar and the stun, but he stunned a little bit too early that time. And so I'm able to make it out. While all this is going on and we disengage safely, we haven't lost a single member of the team. Val has been pushing mid, took down their wall. Sylvanas has been pushing bottom, took down their outer and inner wall, and now Val is coming to join her. And they get our first keep of the game. So that was great, despite the fact that the Dragon Knight didn't himself, I'm talking about myself in the third person here, I didn't myself have the greatest effect with that Knight. This is nice, they just camaraderie here, they're all walking together, not attacking each other. We opened up the possibility and it was capitalized on by a couple of very intelligent members of the team. Strafe does a spectacular job of freaking people out and DPSing the Rhaegar. I come in and get that snipe on him with the E ability. Would have happened anyway. I just like to steal glory from my teammates. Why not? We're all friends here. And we're going to take the Siege Giants. It was me that pinged these objectives here because I knew we were going to, well, we were probably going to be facing a team fight, and why not grab some objectives? Let's see who the web wrap was on this time. Notice that it lasts basically its full duration. And it was Illidan again, so that whole time Illidan was taken out of the fight, and during that time we chunked down Zagar to the point that she's just about dead. I'm going to chase her down and take her out. We've already killed Rhaegar and Johanna, so now Illidan is the only one left, because he was absent from the fight for that entire time the web wrap was down. And think about it, I mean, yeah, the web wrap can be broken early, but I also did a quick analysis of the enemy team and realized they don't have a ton of AoE. Like, there's stuff that you're going to have to, you can deliberately focus down that web wrap target so the web wrap breaks. Illidan hiding, escaping, top strats. But that means that's a little bit of time that they've got to focus the web wrap, and meanwhile they're probably getting hit by our assassins. One of the Vikings picks it up this time. I didn't decide to steal it because I'm a glory hog, and we're going to push mid. That seems like a pretty solid idea. We want to take this exposed keep down anyway. The enemy team is not immediately responding. Some of them are just respawning now. So we get to start chunking this down. Pop Johanna off of her mount there. And there's not a heck of a lot she can do by herself. So here comes the enemy team to back Johanna up. The Devouring Maw swallows one person. And here goes the web wrap once again on Illidan, taking him out of the fight, so that we can concentrate on killing folks without being distracted by him flipping around and taking out our squishies. And he's going to run off and escape because he realizes that we were all coming back for him there. He can't take all 4 of us out at once, despite his god complex. So we're all going to focus down the core now, because 2 of the enemy team are dead, including their support and their main tank. So sure, they've got 2 assassins and 1 tank to stop us, but he's not going to do too much damage, and the assassins will just get taken out if they wanted to engage us too deeply. So, in the end, 21-18. Let's watch the full talent build now. So, we took Exoskeleton to increase our movement speed while we're shielded. We took Web Blast, as you know, I've been calling it Web Wrap. Chitinous Plating to... That's how you say that, by the way. It's not chitin. Chitin. Increases the shield by 40%, just making me more tanky, reducing the attack speed of enemies when they attack me. Again, that was pretty much because of the Illidan, although it doesn't hurt against Zagara either. And then rewind so I can throw out all the CC imaginable. So that was my build. Quite a bit different from the Beetle build that you see a lot of people going, but I feel that this build has, I guess, just more consistency in it. So thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Once again, I have been Pandy of YouTube channel ShrewdReviews. Follow me on Twitter at ShrewdReviews. Thank you so much. You're beautiful people. Have a lovely evening.